nothing's going right today. So the fact that I'm trying to film a video with no makeup, looking like I look, is par for the course right now. Just gonna hold this because the last video I posted, I can't hear what I'm saying.
We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Moscow, and today we are going to do the April garden tour. I think I'm actually going to do two tours, one the beginning of April and one at the end of April, because April is my last frost date, and so halfway through April I'm going to be putting in all the plants, all the annuals. It'll probably end up being May before I get around to a garden tour, but we may do that. We started up here on the porch, which is unusual for us. Also, I look like trash. I don't usually get on the internet without makeup on. I don't usually go out in public without makeup on, but today did not go as planned. We were supposed to be prepping the yard this morning, and we did that, and then we need to take the dogs to the vet for just their annual checkup, and I picked up a dog to put it on the table. Now, did they offer to do it for me? Yes. Did my husband look at me and go, Heather, I'll get it? Of course. Am I an independent woman that can do everything by myself, and I hurt my back putting my dog up on the countertop, the lightest dog at that, and I work out a lot? Sure did. Had to wallow around on the couch for a while. Took a bunch of Tylenol and ibuprofen and piddled in the garden for a little bit because it was 80 degrees outside and I needed to be out here. But now we're going to try to shoot this garden tour when I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost meets ma'am, you need a vitamin. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. But in any case, we're out here. If you're new here, my name is Heather, and this is the Moscow, where we're learning to garden together and trying things out even when conditions aren't perfect. We live in East Tennessee, garden in Zone 7B. We live in the woods, in a modern log cabin in the woods, and it is majestic and beautiful, but it also means I have almost no full sunspots to garden. But we're going to take a look at what the garden looks like in April. It looks significantly better than the last time you saw it. And while, if I were like looking at a bunch of garden tours online, but this is a realistic garden tour in a transition phase. So let's start up here on the porch. There's nothing up here. So we've got our planters, but at least we've got our Christmas stuff out of them. I thought about going to grab some ferns to stick them in there since we are about to have Easter, but there is, I don't know if you can see the egg in there, probably not, but there is a bird's nest. Sad story, last year there was also a bird's nest there and I did not notice. And I was sad the whole day. So this is our giant porch, which I need to put more furniture on, but we do have our rocking chairs, and it's supposed to rain this weekend anyhow, so you know, if you're not familiar with this. So let's walk downstairs and take a look at the garden. We're starting in what's been my favorite spot today, so it's downhill from here. We have a very interesting property. Our driveway starts there, and it winds up from the road and it comes over past those trees, and we park down there, and then you walk up these very industrial stairs. Now I have the plants in my cart that are going to be planted here. We are going to do ruby slippers, hydrangeas, and they're going to go in pretty soon, and then after that I'm immediately going to mulch this bed because it looks terrible. I did mulch that part because I had some leftover mulch, but we'll start over here. I need to divide these and fill in the rest of the spots. For some reason, the ones at the end here didn't come back, but this is lamb's ear. And then we've got our gardenias. Our gardenias love it here. They've been doing great here. I cannot wait for them to bloom and to smell all things gardenia. I love the smell of gardenias. They are the most beautiful white double flowers, and they feel very southern to me. There's a couple things that I think when you're doing your garden, you'll gravitate towards certain things, but as a general rule, I like either white or saturated colors. I like to use a mixture of foliage colors as well, blues, chartreuse, green, and red. And I also like it to feel kind of Japanese garden, kind of modern garden, is what we're going for, but with a southern touch. And to me, the pine straw mulch feels very southern, and I like it, and it gives me southern vibes. So, gosh, I said vibes. Oh, it's a crisis. So anyhow, we will get to finishing these beds. I probably will bring you with me for that because I have made them over 3 different times. It's where all this started, and so you should be here for that, I guess. But we will order oak leaf hydrangeas. I think the oak leaf hydrangeas will go really, really well with the modern log cabin theme. I just think they'll look great. So, you know, whatever. We have planted the grass here. The dogs have trampled the grass really, really badly. And we have planted it several times. If you'll notice, there's these little, can you see it? Right there and right there. Pods. Because I recently seeded again. I know that it is spring. I know that it may die by fall, but we will keep reseeding it in fall anyhow. But we have such an erosion problem now. I actually got Jason bringing this dirt from down the hill. But these are more of those barriers that I have on my channel. They are how I keep the dogs out of everything. But you can see that they are trampling things to death and making a lot of trails for themselves. But for the most part, we've tidied up what we got. And we are trying to grow grass again back here. Again, this is the other bed that matches the one that I just saw you, and we will plant it up. The pots there, I'm thinking about trying another Japanese maple. Maybe like a bloodgood this time that can take a little bit more direct sun. One in each pot and then underplanted. But we'll see. So down here, I have been really thrilled with this bed. I finally put, again, the Pet Safe Paws Away, which is those pods there, in this bed to keep the dogs out of it. And a couple years ago, I transplanted all these hostas, and I thought the dogs had trampled them all. And there is a large number of them coming back, and they look, the Japanese maple is just looking so prime right now. I don't think the camera is going to do it justice as far as how brilliant the color is looking, but it's looking really good. When I got this, the top actually died out of it, and this is like a side shoot, so it's definitely like lopsided or whatever, but it looks really good. It looks really healthy. It's making a comeback. And then we've got all these hostas that are coming up underneath it. Again, I thought all of these were dead. So I am thrilled to see this much hosta growth. And this is actually where I put those Sum and Substance hostas as well. So I'm thrilled to see this many coming up. It's going to be beautiful when these get nice and big and fill in. Eventually I would like to start to work on some of that back there as well. But you can see we are entirely woods here. And again, side yard. But again, you can see we are entirely woods here. But when this fills in with hostas, it's just going to be beautiful. And then just the clean line there. Just this Japanese maple, this color with the green, it just really, it really makes me happy. Really, really love this. So then we have our walkway here. This is what the dogs are supposed to use. We have more mulch down at the circle. We need to fill that back in with mulch. This is just waiting for plantings, so I mulched it. I cut these out a while ago. It's waiting for plantings. I may do another Japanese maple in that vicinity, closer to the other tree so that we don't block the view. That is a Limelight Prime hydrangea that I will move. It needs to be moved to at least a little bit more sun, but this gets only afternoon sun, mostly shade all the day. That's a clump there of iris, which provides at least really great structure there, if nothing else. We've got our oak leaf hydrangea here. Again, there were 4 or 5 of them, but they all got trampled. So I need to come back in and put one here, and then fill in the space on this side with more oak leaf hydrangeas as well. This is another Japanese maple that I have. I love Japanese maples. This one was in the pot up there before. It had a twin. The twin got too hot and burned and died, but this one we put down here in a shadier location, and it is beautiful and happy. And again, these coming out with as much color as they're coming out with in the spring. You know, they say Japanese maples look so good in the fall, but I really think spring is their time to shine. But we will fill it in again with oak leaf hydrangeas. Need to fill in all this bed. That's kind of the project for this year, is I want to buy a plant a week. Just a plant a week. not daunting, and get this filled in. Here is my birthday present from last year. It is a weeping blue Atlas cedar. It will stay in this container, and then it will, when it starts to spill over, we'll just let it take up all of this area. Also have some more lamb's ear here. Lamb's ear does really, really well for me, so I just keep dividing it and spreading it out. There's also a bunch of Rudbeckia in here, or black-eyed Susan. There's another clump of iris. Again, this part here gets just considerably more sun than the rest of it. So this is where I need to move that other hydrangea. But then we've got the limelight hydrangea over here, and that is a crabapple that was beautiful when it was fully bloomed out, but it's getting past its blooms now. But I think the foliage is dark enough to contrast the limelight hydrangea and make an impact. These are I will fill this area in here with seasonal plantings. I will put the, I cannot talk today. Goodness gracious. Petunias, what are they? Vista Jazzberry. Super Tunia Vista Jazzberry along the edge. And we've got the beautiful blue spruce, which is about to put on its fresh growth. There are 2 loropetalums there. I think I'm going to move them over here-ish, because I think this is the spot that gets the most sun. But for the most part, it just needs to be filled in with plants. So I need some more bright chartreuse things. I think I'm actually going to go in with Creeping Jenny. I'm a little bit intimidated that it may try to take over, but I think it would look really, really good to have some Creeping Jenny so that we can have some chartreuse. But for the most part, with the fresh mulch, this looks very tidy, and we just need to start filling it in with plants. But what's there looks healthy and great. So I'm really, really thrilled with that. And then when you turn back, other than the fact that there's no grass, it does look tidy and like a garden instead of like a hot mess. And I appreciate that. Sometimes I go in my yard and I'm like, holy moly, what happened here? But you can see on the blue spruce, it's about to put on that fresh growth. And when it does, it's really fantastic. You know, this doesn't get a whole lot of sun here. It does get some, and it does well. It does pretty well, so I'm pretty happy with that. I love conifers, so I'm pretty happy with that. We have our old beds that we are again going to replace. They are falling apart. We already replaced some of them with the 3 down there, and we just need to replace the other 2. But for now, this one's got some kind of volunteer leftover garlic in it, and then we've got the clematis. I will move the trellis when I move the new beds, and these are starting to bloom, but they will put on even more blooms here in the next week or 2, and they're just gorgeous. They are gorgeous. I really enjoy these, so I will make sure to move these plants when I move the raised beds and move the trellis. I think I'll spray paint it black because it's looking a little sad. And then here are our Vigo beds. We did come in and replace the drip tube that the dogs had eaten and just pulled the weeds out of them. Here is our peach tree. It has bloomed out now and is pushing that foliage that's green. I need to pull this weed, excuse me. But they are ready. We will be planting them here in the next week or 2 with summer things. I will top them off with some compost, and then we will go in with the probably gonna do what are they called? Probably gonna do some squash and zucchini in this bed. I'm gonna work on really interplanting things this year. Probably have some cucumbers hanging out the side, and then over here I think we're gonna do jalapenos and eggplant, and then either some more squash or some green beans. Probably not green beans. We want something that needs full sun right here. But just filling it up with all the things, production gardening, some sunflower seeds, all of that. I'm gonna go back up here. The plan is this year, or the goals are this year, to really optimize our production gardening and stay on top of it. That had been a problem for me last year. So 1 plant per week in the ornamental garden, and then staying on top of the production gardening, trying to optimize the things we want to grow. Over here we have our bank. This is where the hostas originally were that I transplanted. And we put in incredible hydrangeas, and I am thrilled with them. They got put in here in the fall season before last, and I thought dogs had trampled them within an inch of their life. And this is before I had the pet safe paws away. It is in here now. I did not prune these. We'll see if that was a fatal mistake. But they're coming back and looking healthy, and I'm really thrilled with these. Can't wait till they get, you know, nice and bushy and bush out for us and put on just gorgeous white blooms right here. I think it's going to be really, really incredible. The even smaller, they were really great last year. I'm really happy with this bed and impressed with it. I do like to plant things in mass. I think it looks better that way. Although in the corner here, I will probably dot just 1 plant or so, large shrubs. I do a lot of shrubs, not as many perennials. But this mass planting of Incrediballs is just gorgeous when it's blooming, and I'm really, really thrilled with it and happy to have it here. This container here, I love this container. This is another blue Atlas cedar. I like how the blue contrasts the pine needles, and I have it underplanted currently with just a flat of violas that I found at the box store just to give it some color for spring. I didn't want to go crazy and spend a lot of money on spring plants this year, but I did want to have something spring-like, and this is, again, the most high traffic area of my house because this is where we park, and it just looks really good with that tree. So for the summer we will pull those out and we will underplant them again with something summery. Same thing over here. We've got I think that's a soft serve Chamaecyparis, and then we've underplanted it just for spring. We will replant it when summer comes, but it's looking really good. And so this area up here being my most high traffic spot, I did used to have like 4 pots here. I think I'm going to leave it just the 1, but it's looking tidy, and we've got some color up here, and it's bringing me a lot of joy, so I'm really happy with that. Got a little seating area here. This is where I usually sit when I'm taking a break from gardening out here. Someone gave me these chairs a while ago, and I do need to probably strip them and repaint them black. They are not in the best condition, but they were free, so we probably need to do that. But I thought about maybe making a seating arrangement out here somewhere. Let's go take a look into the production garden. So here we've got 4 strawberry plants that I planted in grow bags. Oh, it's got a bloom on it. These containers all need to be cleaned up. Those need to be cleaned up. I do need to come out here again and weed, but a lot of the things that we put in for fall plantings, I can see that I'm getting good germination on them. I've got good lettuce germination over there. The daffodils are about done, but I do need to come in here and start tidying and planting up things so that we can get it handled. It's not looking so great right now, but here in about a month, once we've planted everything up, I think it's going to be a whole different thing. I did take advantage of last year. I only planted on this front side, and so this year when I planted my spring stuff, I planted it on the other side. The reason for that was so that we can optimize the space. The most sun comes to these couple rows here, and we will plant things on the vine as well. But everything back here is so borderline needing more sun, that it grows huge. Over there, probably the most striking thing is those heucheras that are bright chartreuse. I think I'm gonna take those out and underplant the other Japanese maple that's in a pot in that front bed with that. I do need to come in here. My dahlias will go right next to or intermingled with where those daffodil bulbs are. And I need to again come in here and start weeding things and planting things. So that is the full garden and what it's looking like right now. It's looking significantly better than it was looking just a short period of time ago. Significantly better. And I'm very thrilled with it. Today was the first day that I got out here and I was like, you know what, things look tidy. They look like we're getting somewhere. I think it's so hard when you're in the midst of doing your garden to feel encouraged that you're making change on a time period that suits you. And again, I want to encourage you that we're all going through that. It's all making a change slowly but surely. And you know, you get setbacks like the dogs trampling everything, and then you learn to overcome those and you keep moving forward. But I'm really happy with how tidy everything is looking right now. And I can't wait for it to be just a couple more weeks. I can put in the birds. I don't know if they're playing or fighting or whatever. Weird. But in a couple more weeks, I'm going to get to put in all of my annuals for the summer and start planting things. And I'm really, really thrilled about that. Start filling up those raised beds with some good stuff and start getting some production going. So in any case, please comment below what you're loving about your garden right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.